Animal had some really cool world building. I'd like to see more from this world. It was a little mysterious here. Um, it was interesting that it was all women doing these jobs. They did a great job with the special effects in this film and just building out this world that they're in. They're with this bar, and the outside is all apocalyptic, and the inside of their truck. So yeah, it makes me want to know more about what's going on in this post-apocalyptic world. Um, I loved all the characters in this. I thought they were all very, very unique and not usually characters that you see on screen a whole bunch. Definitely very interesting. So the acting was very, very good as well as the writing. Um, I loved the analogy with the ants in the beginning. It was a little bit of foreshadowing there. And also in the beginning, you assume, of course, that Minnie has been bitten by an animal in the past, but by the end, you're kind of wondering if it really was an animal that attacked her, or if it was another human, like what happened to the woman that Minnie accidentally kills, Pearl. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting element to put in there of sort of questioning what really happened to her. So yeah, I thought this film was really cool.
This world feels very erratic, which makes sense for a dystopian universe where they're not even allowed to see outside. They go from building to building, vehicle to vehicle, and all we know is there's something dangerous in the outside world. We're not really sure what. Could be an animal, it could be humans have turned into animals, and that's why, for their own safety, they have to go from building to building. All we know is there's something dangerous outside. And you could feel the intensity within the characters and how they interacted with each other. It was great acting and great direction to show the intensity where they have their own little obsessions, but really they're getting to boiling points. And that made it great writing as well, because you could feel it. You could feel how erratic they were. You could feel the anxiety coming off the screen, which made it something that was a joy to watch.
Animal? I thought this was really, really interesting. It was definitely really fun and like, and I don't necessarily mean that in like a haha funny way, but there's like drinking and there's loud, kind of arguments, and there's, this kind of belligerent behavior, at least partially, um, which kind of carries this kind of fun note to it. It doesn't take it too seriously. Um, but I really, really loved how you could tell that like the two women that like existed on the shuttle, that were supposed to be on the shuttle, um or ship or whatever it is, you could obviously tell that they had spent a lot of time together, that they had, been these kind of co-captains together or what have you for a really long time, but they didn't necessarily like each other, but you could see the kind of bond, and you could see the relationship there. And then they did a really, really good job of, by the end of it, you really truly understand just the level of trust and just the level of like them relying on one another that has obviously developed over time with all of their missions and things like that, um and how they really are there for one another, even if at the very beginning I was like, these people hate each other, but that's not the same feeling that you had by the very end. But it didn't feel, I mean, obviously it was traumatic and really, really interesting too. I really liked the kind of premises that the ideas that they were working with. But the relationship between the two I thought was really, really nice, and I like how they showed it.
Hey, I'm commenting on the short film Animal. I think you did a really fantastic job with this. I love when, in sci fi, people aren't, talking like I guess like they've become some like elevated race or whatever, but they're just like talking like normal people. I thought that was a really nice touch, and I thought it really worked well, especially with the actors who you had for this, who were all just fantastic in their roles. It really put me in mind of something kind of halfway between like Cowboy Bebop and this movie called The American Astronaut. And yeah, I really think that it's succeeding on a lot of levels. I mean, it's well written for sure. Like I said, well acted, but the production design is super fun. I love the fact that you like didn't try too hard to make the interior feel like the interior of a spaceship. I think that just really worked with everything that you were kind of showing us. And yeah, I just from front to back, this was just a really, really fantastic job. It was a lot of fun, and I would love to see more from these characters because they are an absolute blast. Very, very nice work.
Animal is really interesting. I like the setting and the characters. There is a really interesting world building happening in a really short amount of time. That was really, really cool to see and hear. I had so many questions about their world and how they got there and what the animals were and what the animal attack was. A lot of questions, really interesting and thought provoking.
Animal was definitely an insane road trip. Um, First off, I definitely loved all of the mise en scène. It really did feel like another world watching it. Um, Additionally, I love how it really sets up that paranoia and that isolation, um, where it feels like everyone's gone a bit stir crazy from just how long they've been doing this for, um, which boils and cultivates into that climax. All in all, it was very intense, and I had a lot of fun watching it.
Animal. I really enjoyed this film. I thought the storyline was terrific. The female leads were strong. I liked the backstory of Minnie. And I just love that it's a future piece with women who are surviving, and we're getting to see how they live with a Tiffany lamp in the truck. And their assignment is to rebuild civilization, and they're getting exhausted of that and always having to be on guard. I like the desert scene with the dust storm coming at the truck all the time. And it shows how people really do have needs, no matter what state they're living in. The creative outlet that Minnie needs to explore her past, and she's an artist. And Biddy loves her music and country music, and she needs that engagement. So the funny moments were good, and there's tragedy, and there's a good balance for this film. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.